A Little Golden Book, Disney Pixar Soul. Adopted by Courtney Carbone, illustrated by Sophia Lynn and Nick Belaine, designed by Tony Bejan. A Golden Book, New York. Joe Garner was a middle school band teacher, but his real dream was to become a professional jazz musician. He knew it was what he was born to do. One day, Joe got a call from Curly Baker, an old student of his. Curly invited Joe to audition for the famous Dorothea Williams Quartet. They were playing at the Half Note, a legendary jazz club. At the audition, Joe's fingers flew across the piano keys. Dorothea was impressed with Joe's performance. She told Joe to find a good suit for the show later that night. Joe's dream was finally coming true. He called everyone he knew, eager to share the good news. Joe was so distracted that he fell into an uncovered manhole. The next thing Joe knew, he had taken the form of a soul on a moving sidewalk heading toward a bright light. Glowing souls around him said they were going to the great beyond. Joe did not like the sound of that. He ripped through a barrier and fell down, down, down into the youth seminar, down, 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 where new souls prepared for life on Earth. Here, they would get their personalities and find one last special thing, their spark. A soul counselor named Jerry thought Joe was a lost mentor. Mentors help new souls find their spark. Joe was paired with a new soul named 22. But 22 had been paired with hundreds of mentors before. She didn't want to go to Earth. Joe and 22 visited a room filled with Joe's ordinary memories. Joe admitted that he wasn't a mentor. He just wanted to get back to his life on Earth and perform with Dorothea Williams. Joe wasn't like any mentor 22 had had before. She told Joe he could go to Earth in her place. But first, Joe had to help 22 find her spark so she could earn her Earth pass and give it to him. Joe thought finding 22's purpose on Earth will help her find her spark. 22 experimented with baking, chemistry, and firefighting. Then she tried being an astronaut, a librarian, and even president. Dozens of tries later, 22 still had not found her spark, and they were out of time. 22 had an idea. She led Joe through a portal to the astral plane. There, they met a mystic named Moonwind, who helped Joe find his body in a hospital on Earth. But there was a terrible mix-up. 22 entered Joe's body, and Joe ended up in the body of Mr. Mittens, the hospital therapy cat. Joe and 22 escaped from the hospital and discovered themselves on the noisy streets of New York City. Luckily, they found Moonwind on a street corner. He told them to meet him later at the Half Note to get Joe back into his body. While they waited, Joe and 22 spent the day preparing for Joe's show. 22 had to pretend to be Joe, and for the first time, 22 saw how wonderful life could be. As the day ended, 22 thought she might be ready to stay on Earth, but Joe disagreed. He didn't think she was ready. Besides, Joe needed his body back, now. But 22 refused to give up Joe's body. Suddenly, a portal appeared and transported them back to the youth seminar. Someone had tracked Joe down on Earth. The counselors were shocked to learn that 22 had finally earned her Earth pass. But Joe believed she had only earned it because she pretended to be him. 22 gave Joe her Earth pass and disappeared. Joe returned to Earth just in time for the show. The crowd went wild as Joe played. It was everything he'd ever wanted, and then it was over. He thought he would feel different after the show, but everything was the same. Back at home, Joe sat at his piano and thought of the small, special moments of his day with 22. As Joe played, he traveled back to the astral plane. Moonwind met Joe there with terrible news. 22 had become a lost soul. They tried to catch her in Moonwind's boat, but 22 escaped to the youth seminar. Joe chased 22 as she tore through the youth seminar, leaving destruction in her wake. Finally, Joe cornered 22 at the edge of the Earth portal. He tried to apologize for telling her she wasn't ready to go to Earth, but just when he thought 22 was listening, she swallowed him whole. Inside the lost soul, Joe found the real 22, upset and scared. He gently handed her a small seed pod she collected during the day together, and the storm began to calm. Joe told 22 he used to think that finding your spark was about realizing your purpose, but now he knew it was really about being inspired by life. 22 was ready after all. Joe gave the Earth pass to 22, and together the two friends jumped towards Earth. At the last moment, Joe was taken back to the great beyond, but 22 continued eager to explore the world on her own. On the moving sidewalk, the counselor had a gift for Joe. It was a special Earth portal just for him. Joe had inspired all the counselors by helping 22, and they wanted to thank him. With just one step, Joe entered the portal, ready to appreciate every moment of his life.